Jim Daopoulos works for NBC Sports, official consultant there. 11 years as an NFL official on the field, 12 years as the NFL supervisor of officials. So he comes with a great resume here. Jimmy, what did you see last night on that final play?
Hey, Dan, I saw pass interference, and I actually saw a flag, so they called it. They got it right. Why did they pick it up? I have no idea. I am absolutely troubled by that. You have an obvious pass interference on the play. They don't give Gronkowski an opportunity to get back to the ball as he's being restricted, and it is definitely a catchable pass.
Okay, but take me through that conference that they're having in the end zone at the very end where they say, let's pick up the flag. What do you think is exchanged there?
Well, first of all, I see the umpire get involved, which absolutely boggles my mind. His basic responsibility is the line of scrimmage and the action inside the line of scrimmage. Why he's running downfield to get involved in that, it kind of surprised me. The side judge comes over and probably says to the back judge, do you think he had an opportunity to catch the ball? The back judge seemed very confident initially when he made the call. He pulled the flag. He saw the restriction. He saw the ball up in the air. He saw pass interference. They try to bring too much into the equation, and what happens is now the official starts second-guessing himself. And on that type of a situation, it's a game-deciding play. All of a sudden, he gets a little nervous, and now he's starting to think what's going on, and he's not sure. So he just picked it up, and I just thought it was a bad mistake, and it was bad communication on that crew.
Could you have called holding at the very least? Maybe not pass interference because it's not a catchable ball, but Kuechly did hold Rob Gronkowski on the play.
Absolutely. I mean, he did. He held him. He restricted him. And, the rule is if the ball's in the air, it's pass interference. Now, the perception by the officials is, if it's not pass interference, it's nothing. But there was something there. And if that ball was clearly uncatchable, then you wouldn't have a defensive holding either. But because the ball was catchable, and I was very frustrated when they were saying that this was an uncatchable pass, because as officials, we talk about uncatchable passes, and we look to the ball to be clearly over the end line, over the some place where a player cannot make any opportunity to make a catch. Because these guys are fantastic. They can come back and make catches. They make catches of balls that is just amazing. So this was a catchable pass.
Why pick up the flag and then not have an explanation?
Again, very confusing. We have some referees that probably would still be on the TV right now explaining the situation, and then we have some that just don't like to say too much. And I think there was just so much doubt about what they did that they just didn't want to discuss it. And then, there wasn't a very good explanation at the end either. It was just they just said by saying it's uncatchable. I think they just probably weren't very comfortable with the decision that they made out there.
When we hear not a catchable ball, that's open to interpretation on something that is, bang, bang. Now, that's not reviewable, right?
No, that's not reviewable.
Should it be? If we're going to say it's not catchable, I mean, that's interpretation here, and I think it gets into dangerous gray area. There should that be something that is reviewable?
Well, that's a good point, Dan. But you get to a point that we very seldom, as officials, call balls uncatchable. You usually see them on the sidelines, going down the sideline where two players are right, step for step, and there's some jostling going on, and there's usually some contact, and that ball lands outside the white area, and that's when we call uncatchable. Everything else we pretty much consider catchable, unless I heard somebody say today, unless it's a Tim Tebow type pass that's 15 yards in front of the receiver, but there's very few uncatchable passes in the National Football League.
So there's a Tebow rule?
I'm not sure if we would call it a Tebow rule. I shouldn't be really saying that, but we've seen him throw the ball, and he comes up short an awful lot of the times. And if it's 10 or 15 yards, but again, if you watch some of these receivers going to the sideline, and you'll say there's no way they can catch that ball, and they make these fantastic catches, coming back from passes where they have to kind of reach out to get the ball. So very seldom do you see an uncatchable pass.
Before I let you go, we had a moment in the Redskins game where one of the players, Trent Williams, said that the official had some derogatory things to say about him. What do you make of this?
Really troubling, Ben. I mean, this bothers me a lot, and if indeed it did occur, it's a mark against officials. This is something that's just not condoned. You know, we take a lot of verbal abuse from players, from coaches out there, but at some point, we've got to, control our professionalism, and I'm anxious to see what comes out of this from the league office, because they will investigate this, and hopefully we can really kind of get an idea of what happened on the situation.
Well, does Roy Ellison have a reputation as a guy who will interact with players?
I have known Roy since before he got into the league. He worked for me in the NFL Europe program, and he has been nothing but a professional. I know of no situations. There's a lot of speculation that, there were some issues. Let me tell you, a lot of stuff goes on out on the field, just like it does in the locker rooms, that basically stays on the field. But basically, if he actually said what he did, that's crossing the line on this type of situation.
Wait, have you had moments where you interact with a player where you say something, you jab him?
Yeah, you say things, but he may want to call, or he may get upset that something's going on, and sometimes you have to use your outdoor voice with them, and sometimes you have to get a little bit verbal with them. But some of this language that they have speculated that Roy used, it just doesn't. I don't understand it. It doesn't seem like something that he would do.
Jimmy, good to visit with you. I know you got a busy day. Thank you.
Great talking with you, Dan. Have a great day.
All right, Jim Daopoulos spent 11 years as an NFL official. 12 years he was the NFL supervisor of officials.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.